Must have gotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie and the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to episode number, it's 18. It's only 18 because I was away in the snow and then you had Origin duties last week.
But it's round 19, right?
It's round 19.
Okay.
But we've only done 18 of them. It's just upsetting for people that have missed out on one show. One thing, I didn't know this, William, but we're actually, if you look in the little camera there, we're actually on YouTube as well. Did you know that? No. Neither did I.
I did not know.
Someone said to me, I saw you on YouTube. I went and looked and people are actually like, there's people that are, hi, how are you? Or,
all right.
There's people that are like making comments. We're not brushing you. I just didn't honestly know it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, because we're heaps on top of stuff on this show.
I'm blaming Henry and Craig.
It's definitely all of their faults, not ours. Everything is. Now, William, you, the reason we didn't do it last week is because of the third game of State of Origin. Mm-hmm. You had quite the road trip.
I did. Just through the tab. They went on a road trip from Sydney. So it was myself and Willie Tonga, good close friend of mine. He's a Queenslander, obviously, you know, Origin, the third, it was the decider, all that kind of stuff. So we started in Sydney. First stop was in Newcastle. So it was all about social media engagement, and they had to who do you want to wear a Queensland jersey through the mall of Newcastle or swim in Merewether bars? Of course, people are going to want me to wear a Queensland jersey. So I had to wear a Queensland jersey through Newcastle and sit down in a cafe and just talk to people, all this kind of stuff. So we were filming just on a phone. So it wasn't like there was a camera crew or anything like that. So people just thought I was wearing it for fun. So people go, "What are you doing, Willie? What are you doing? Oh, yes. What are you?" Like, they didn't know they were getting filmed, and like a couple of people had some fun. They were all right, but they just go, "What the F? What the fuck are you doing? What, you know, like, why are you wearing a Queensland?" I said, "It's just a bet, you know what I mean? It's just a social media thing," and that was good. Tong, obviously, you know, the rig that Tong has, I don't think he really cared about swimming in the bars. You know what I mean? He got his shirt off.
100%.
He did not care, so I don't think it really worried him. And he swims in the ocean every morning anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. I think it was about 12 degrees, so it was pretty. So we had to stay in there for 5 minutes. So we did that. We had something to eat there, and then we went to Port Macquarie, did the same sort of similar thing. Had to do a couple of things there, but then we stopped in Lismore, which was great. And obviously they've been devastated by floods and just some unbelievable stuff. The lady, we stayed at the Civic, we stopped at the Civic Hotel, and she showed us the footage of how high it got. It's like, you know, 10 metres. Like the whole city was just underneath me. And like I was shocked at it. It was very emotional as well. A lot of people lost everything. You know, like a lot of small businesses lost everything. They're only starting to get back on their feet now. So we stopped there. We did an interview, with Channel 9. I was pouring beers at like 9:30. This was on the Wednesday, so we're heading up to Suncourt, so I thought I'd start early. And so the publican, you know, they're like in the country, they don't care. Pour us a beer. And I'm like, righto, you gonna have one? So I'm pouring Tooheys News at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. Did a couple of interviews there, just showing awareness and showing that you know that we all do care, and they're going to do an grand opening at the Civic, I think in about a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. And I said, look, just let me know and I'll come to the opening. Yeah, and so will Willie Tonga. Willie Tonga can come down, and I think the tab will come there as well, and we'll try and make try and raise some money for Lismore and the flood victims, because it's crazy. I couldn't believe the magnitude of what happened up there. You know, you just see little bits on the news here and there, but like, you know, that whole place was just underwater, like at least 5 to 10 meters.
It's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like we were upstairs at the pub, and she goes, it got all the way up to here. Yeah, like right. They stayed at the pub. They didn't leave. They didn't evacuate or anything. You know what I mean? So nothing but love for people of Lismore. Been through a hell of a lot. But you're rolling through the city. If you drive through there now, you think nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Until you go into the pubs and see the damage and all that kind of stuff. You know, they've been inundated with a lot of help from governments and everything like that. But the more that people like us can do, the better, because you know they're trying to get back on their feet. It's hard. It was hard, but it was hard to watch. And then just to leave. But so I said, look, I'll come to the opening. Just let me know. She's a great bird. And then we went to to Suncorp, Caxton, and then it all started from there, which was good.
Are you still heaps popular at Caxton Street?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'm
all right. You know, I was with Willie Tonga, and what about the timing? I had to go down. I was getting a beer. I remember that break I made, and then Billy Slater tackled me and I dropped the ball.
Oh, yeah.
That was on at the exact same time that I come down and try to get a beer, and then everyone just took the piss out of me. Massive. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me? Who put this on exact same time?"
Then on replay?
It was just unlucky. "Oh, you dropped the ball." I said, "What about the 70-meter run?"
Was not a bad run.
You still didn't score. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, fair enough." But it was good. Then Gambaros went down, and we watched the game. It was obviously disappointing that we lost, but it was a great couple of days. It was good.
I'll tell you what's funny too, Will. Like, you just think about what you've just talked about there, and you've gone on. You go to these pubs and you've gone up and you've basically offered to give up your time for free again. And I remember 10 years ago, everyone would be like, "Oh, Willie Mason's." Now you're a statesman of the game, and it's like anyone who doesn't realise how much you do out of unpaid stuff off your own bat. Yeah, I'm just very proud of you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And also, what did I get emotional for all of a sudden here?
No, it was good. No, it was good. It was good. We should go up. I think we should go up to the opening.
Yeah, for sure.
The Take, we'll do something up there and try and organise something. But it was, it was really nice. It was good. Brisbane was always fun. Doing, especially rolling up there with Willie Tonga. He's a very close friend of mine. So it's all right. Oh, so Tong was really good. I haven't seen, I see Tong in, dribs and drabs. He's always very busy doing some great stuff with Daily Choices. But spending about 48 hours with him, it was really good.
Yeah, good man, Tong. All right, William. Well, we should get into it. Actually, before we do get into it, I just told you just before we came on, a good couple of years ago now, we got involved with the Polish international side during the Emerging Nations World Cup, and we had a great few weeks with that Polish side, and just some of the nicest people I've ever met, just genuine, rugby league lovers, and we've just been told that one of the blokes that played in that team, he was a front rower, his name was Stephen, he's tragically passed away. He's got 3 young kids, and just from both of us, we just wanted to have a big shout out to his family and friends and everyone that was involved in that Polish side in 2019. It's a tragedy when someone loses their life so young, and especially someone as good as that.
We're unsure of what happened, but we're going to try and do everything we can. Obviously, if they're going to have a GoFundMe page or something to help these guys out, I think we'll put it on our website. We'll do everything on social media because he's a young man, 30 years old, 3 kids. So it's going to be a hard life for those young kids and the wife as well. So let's try and raise some money. He's part of the football rugby league fraternity. It's not just about the NRL. It's all about the younger players and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, a lot of people can find out about this. It's all about raising awareness for this family.
Yeah. So congratulations to Stephen for a wonderful life. You've been I remember doing some stuff with him. Yeah.
He's a great, positive person, and it's tragic. It's tragic.
All right. So the other thing, I guess, that's just starting again is COVID sort of coming back. Will, in terms of they're talking about bubbles and that, we're past that, aren't we? The only thing I would say, when the Dogs were playing in 2004, right, how their sides go on an alcohol ban or whatever, they think, I'm not going to drink until after the grand final. Do you reckon, if there was COVID around, there's been a few players missing now, do you reckon as a side, as you get towards the semis, blokes will just start to go, you know what, let's just limit us going out to try and make sure that you don't lose your star player the week before. For Penrith losing Cleary for COVID the week before the grand final.
Well, you probably would. You'd try and limit the amount of alcohol intake. You would, because it's getting serious, and you want everybody in tip-top shape. Let alone now, with you, if you're out in public, you could get COVID.
Yeah.
Cleary might be out, a Luai, a Munster, a Latrell. The ramifications of you going out, being in the public, and that, it's times 1 billion now.
Yeah.
So I can understand, Queensland didn't have Munster because of COVID.
Yeah.
you know, who do you blame there? Like you throw these guys out into all these fans and everything like that.
Fan days,
you know, it's a fan day with 1,000 people there. Like the NRL need to take some responsibility for that and accountability. You're throwing these kids into that. I get it. Like Origin is massive. I'm all for giving it out to the public, going to, you know, fan signing sessions, everything like that. You know, I get it, but like. Look at the repercussions of that. You know, Tuolungi missed out on that, and Munster missed out on winning a decider at Suncorp, which is probably would have been a career highlight for both these guys. You know, Munster has been outstanding all year, and all Origin series he had to miss out on that, even though he was an integral part of that thing. So they're going to have to change these rules somehow. And you're getting to the pointy end of the year. You know, teams will probably start testing a lot more. I think they probably let it slip a little bit, I reckon, this year, you know, especially through Origin.
Yeah.
They thought, you know, COVID's sort of gone. There's a lot of COVID. There's part of, like, you know, there's flus and everything going on right now. You know, COVID is still around. You know, it's going to be around forever. Do you know what I mean? Sure. Like, I spoke to Munster 2 days before the game. He goes, he played with influenza about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Couldn't even get out of bed. Was absolutely rattled, but was still allowed to play. This one, no symptoms, no nothing, can't play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So let's try and find a happy medium. You know what I mean? Like, COVID is going to be here forever. They do take all the protocols they can. You know, even going into the Bulldogs training, going to New South Wales, like headquarters, you got to take you know, the rat tests and everything like that. So they are doing the best to keep it at bay. But it is, you know, you're going out, if you're going out into a pub, a club, festivals and all that, you're probably going to have to limit that heading into the semi-finals. But
and you only miss a week, so ideally, like if I'm in the semis, I'm going to go to everyone, boys, just wrap yourself in cotton wool for 3. It's only 3 weeks.
And I think they will. I think they will. You just have to bunker down, and at the end of the day, if you win a premiership, it's going to be worth everything. If you make a big run into the semi-finals, all that kind of stuff. And I think, you know, there'll be no more fan days. There won't be any players. There won't be any fans at training. There won't be any of that. And that's just the environment that has been built. And that's the environment and society that we live in right now.
And if you play for the West Tigers, straight to the beach road, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But they just have to be, they just got to be like, you know, just be careful, you know. And I think all the NRL teams have, but it's just because, you know, Munster missed out. But hey, we know why, because you had a fan day with 1,000 people there. Yeah. I'm not sure what you expect, you know, and Tuolungi being out. Like, we're lucky that we didn't miss anyone from New South Wales. I
feel for Tuolungi, actually.
Yeah, like
same. It was only his second game.
His second game, he could have played, you know, he could have won a series at Suncorp. That is like the pinnacle of every Queenslander's dream, is to win a decider at Suncorp, and that got taken away from him. And Munster, you know, Munster's won a fair few games, but, you know, like him being a part of that, he would have felt a part of it, but he still didn't play, so he would have been that pissed off because he, you know, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just part of a society and what we're living in now, and it does suck, but it is what it is. You just can't. They're going to rule you out. They think COVID is the worst thing in the world. You know, there's more people dying of influenza in the hospitals at the moment than COVID. But it's COVID, isn't it?
Mate, what about Tom Dearden? Tom Dearden steps into Munster and he basically becomes Wally Lewis. I was like, what happened then? The bloke got punted from the Broncos 12 months ago. Now the Cowboys are winning every game and he's playing virtually man of the match in Origin.
Mate, he played outstanding. I thought when Munster was out, that was it. I said, if anyone that you want to be out, if you had a wish list, if you're a New South Wales fan or a player, I'm like, I want Munster to be out. Munster to be out. You know what I mean? And what about the shit comment from Paul Kent when he said, what did he say? Look at the number 6 for Queensland. Now, I'm taking that out of context, playing with so much passion and everything. And then, you know, you look on the other hand, the number 6 for New South Wales is just thinking about playing for Samoa.
Did he say that?
Yeah, that is the most dumbest shit comment I've ever heard in my life. So he's thinking that Dearden, because he played a great game and they end up winning the game, and now Luai doesn't have enough passion for New South Wales. Does he? Like, how can you measure passion? Like, these guys rip it. They played their asses off. Both teams played their ass off. Every single player who wore a blue jersey or a maroon jersey comes out and plays with the amount of intensity and passion that you would never fucking know. You would never ever know that, PK. And how can you gauge that on a performance from Dearden to Luai just because you think he's thinking about playing for Samoa when he's playing for the Blues? That is the most dumb-headed comment I've fucking heard for ages. I've never heard anything dumb. Like, I don't mind PK as a bloke, he's a good bloke, but you can't question someone's passion. There's no gauge on a passion. Like, watch him play. Like just because like Toto and all these sort of guys like are choosing Samoa and Tonga. Did you see what about Nanai and Big Papa and that? They had the fucking Samoan flag and got a photo with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that mean they were thinking about Samoa as well, but they had more passion because they won? Like, it's the biggest contradicting bullshit in the world. Like, what are you talking about? You can't question these guys' passion. You know what I mean? Like, Dean, yeah, good on you, Queensland, you won. But don't try and this whole passion thing about New South Wales and Queensland have more fucking passion than us. Like, don't ever question that.
I'll tell you what's funny though, Will, and this is how things get a life of their own in the media. So you look at when Queensland won 426 series in a row. No one was saying Queensland got more passion. People saying you've got Jonathan Thurston, you've got Greg English, you've got like Cameron Smith, you've got one of the greatest sides in rugby league history, right? They were winning because they were a better team.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, if Queensland win, this whole thing about passion gets brought up the whole time. I don't get it. I don't understand how they think that the colour jersey you're wearing affects the self-pride that you have in your own performance and how you want to front up for your mate. Like, Joey,
how can a fucking journo understand about passion for New South Wales or Queensland? That's what gets me. If it come from Gordon Tallis or if it come from a Queensland great and they said some shit, you'd be like, yeah, whatever, it's Gordy or whatever. Not from a fucking journalist. You do not say anything. Just commentate on the game. But that's all you can do if you're a journo. You don't know fuck all about the Origin. You don't know. All you do is report on it.
But even that aside, Will, like if you look at that game, right? Okay, Queensland's effort areas were good. There's no question. But it's not that New South Wales weren't trying.
Mate,
how does it? I don't understand with this passion. The big one at the moment.
But the thing is like the passion. But he's thinking about playing for Samoa. Really.
He's definitely not. I can guarantee you.
He's definitely not. That's what's that in? It's in the world. He's worried about Carrigan or someone else trying to get at him or inside pressure from someone. Like that's what he's thinking about. Or trying to get a win for New South Wales, trying to break the game open. That's what he's thinking about. Like, why would you bring like the Islands into it? Like because. Like, is that the flavour of the month? Because Toto made that one comment.
That's what I mean. It is.
That's what it is. Like because maybe Australia won't be as dominant because you might lose about 13 players if they all decide to play for the Islands.
Which is a good thing. Will.
It's a great thing for the national game. Like I don't understand. I couldn't understand that. And watching Andrew Johns. I'm not sure if you watched that. That was the most rawest fucking thing I've ever seen Joey say. And that hit home for every single player that played for New South Wales or anything. And that's fucking Joey saying that. And that brings a tear to your eye when you watch that shit. I'm like, damn, Joey's feeling that. And that's probably the most shattered I've felt after a game. When I was there, I was just like, you're kidding me, because we were so close and we could have won that game, but it's over. It's done. They won the game, and it doesn't mean they have more passion than us.
And
it's
also
bullshit. They do have more fucking passionate fans. That's about it.
Yeah, they do.
They have crazy little rednecks coming up from fucking top of Queensland, Mount Isa, and all the way down to fucking Brisbane just to smash the shit out of us. They loved it. I was there. I have a great time with these fans. Great time. Queensland's it's one of the pinnacle of our game. He's a decider at Suncorp with those Queensland fans. I love them. They make Origin. They do. That's about as much passion. They have more passionate fans than us. That's it. Nothing when it comes to playing.
Well,
bullshit.
The other thing as well. So Victor Radley's just announced that he wants to get picked in the English World Cup squad.
Yeah.
And the No Passion Brigade had jumped on that saying, "Oh, look, no Queenslander or whatever." Mate, I can name 5 Queenslanders: Tony Carroll, Brad Thorne, Adrian Lamb.
Yep.
There's that kid that played for Brisbane in the centres who played for England, Jack whatever. He finished his career early because he got an injury. There's at least 5 blokes.
Yeah, so they got a short memory.
So all of a sudden now Victor Radley wants to say that,
and they don't have any passion. Like Victor,
no
Victor Radley. How about you just get over it? Victor Radley's old man is English.
Correct.
He's English, so he wants to represent his family. This is probably going to be the hardest decision he's ever going to make. You know what I mean? He's given up New South Wales, which I think he's still a future New South Wales player, and he's given up an Australian jersey, which I think he's still an Australian representative in the waiting. But it means more to him to represent his family. So shut the fuck up and let these players make their own decisions. It's unbelievable. Like Victor Radley has made a ballsy decision. He's representing his family. Until you get in that position, people, shut your fucking mouth, because you don't understand what it means to him. Let Victor Radley make his decision. Let Toto make his decision. Luai, Crichton, Big Papa, Tino, they all get a position. They're in a power position where they can pick Australia, they can pick Samoa or Tonga, Fiji, and now Victor has come across and he's playing for England. Let it happen. These kids can do that. Stop questioning everything they do. These are the fucking rules that they play in, and they're exploiting the rules. Change them if you don't want this.
You're right. Do you need a cuddle?
No, I'm good. I'm just sick of all the shit. Why are they like having a crack at Victor for? Like, understand? Like, just they don't know until they're in that position.
And his dad's a proud Englishman. Like,
his dad's a proud Englishman.
He's involved with the Bronny Board Riders, and his whole family.
He's a great kid. Can you imagine the decision that he's just made right now to give up a New South Wales shot and an Australian jersey? That's how much his family means to him. Understand that, people. Have some fucking empathy.
I think you do know cuddle. I'm going to give you a call.
Nah, I'm all right.
I'm the one that over here all emotional about you before.
I just think I'm just sick of all the shit.
I went to the gym this morning and they put a playlist on and I almost had a tear up at 5:30 in the morning. All right, let's move on to coaches. Here comes the dog again. Stay out of there. He did a crap on the floor this morning too, so he's in the bad books. Coaching roundabout, William. We've got Serraldo to the Bulldogs. We've got Tim Sheens and Benji Marshall coaching the Tigers. We've got Christian Wolfgang to the Dolphins. Brad Arthur's getting the punt. Griffin's getting the punt. Yeah, when did coaches become the pure news cycle for rugby league? That's all anyone cares about is the coaches.
It is. It's
unbelievable.
Never that.
It was never like that when you were playing. There was never like you might get.
It wasn't
the odd
interchangeable. Like it wasn't a coaching carousel like it was. I mean, like we had Folksy for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like Wayne was always at the Broncos. Bellamy was always there. Parramatta always had Brian Smith. Like, you're talking like 5-year minimum coaches. Yeah. Now you're like 1 or 2 years and you're out. You don't do the job, and it's the hardest job in the game, really. Being a coach, I think Tigers have made probably the best move they have in the last 10 years, putting Sheensy there because he'll oversee everything. He created that culture at the West Tigers. He won a premiership there. He's highly respected. He's going to get Benji Marshall, mentor him, and Robbie Farah. He's just going to oversee a lot. I think Benji Marshall will be the future head coach there, because don't worry about Benji's skill level on the field, his rugby league IQ, and how he is a leader of men off the field at the moment now. He is that dude. It might take him 2 or 3 years for Sheensy to cultivate him as a head coach, but he's the future of that club. And I think it's a great move from the Tigers. Gives them stability. If I'm a young kid, just say, like, you got to think of the future. If you're a 16-year-old kid, 16, 17, 2 or 3 years, you through that system, because the Tigers have really good young kids. Benji might be your coach. You probably want that. Like Robbie's going to be there. They're going to put some really good people around him, and I think that's the way the Tigers are going to go, and they will get some good players there. And I think it just shows stability to the fans, to the board. Sheensy's going to be overwatching everything. Sheensy's a triple OG, man. Like, he's been around the game since the 80s. Yeah, he's won. You got to understand. Like, he was part of the Green Machine. Then he was North Queensland. Then he went to the Tigers. Like, he's won premierships. Like, he is that dude. He's coached Australia. He's that man. Like, he has so much respect within the game. He's probably just been laying in the cut for about 6, 7 years. Just been overseas a fair bit. Like, probably just enjoying developing young coaches. And now he goes, I'll step in and I'll develop the future of the club, which is going to be Benji Marshall. So I think that's the best move that the Tigers have made for years.
Do you think the thing that got Benji Marshall over the line to coach was the fact that he knows that the Roosters juniors play in the Balmain comp, so he's going to be able to draw from the Clovelly Crocodiles and Bondi United and Paddock Colts? That's probably the best junior nursery going around in the whole country.
No, but he knows. But if you have a look at the SG Ball and that from West Tigers, what I was looking at, they're good. They're really good. So and
they've got those young kids coming through now.
Understand West Tigers, Seatown out there. Yeah, a lot of Campbelltown kids, a lot of Mount Druitt kids. They all can't fit into that Penrith system. No. So they're all getting highly scouted at young ages this year. These days. So the Tigers, that's all right. I'm not mad at that.
There we go. Good news for the Tigers. Tigers fans out there, some good news. I love Brett Camorley saying it was disrespectful of Penrith to rest their players and they lost. I was like,
what are you doing, Noddy?
It's disrespectful. They beat you.
Should have been happy.
You got beat by the Reggies. Just be happy. Don't be disrespectful. And then he was like, don't print that. Don't have a go at that. Well, you said it. He needs some time.
Called the journal would have been, yeah, we won't print it.
We won't see the light of day. Christian Wolf. Have you had anything to do with Christian Wolf?
Christian Wolf was at the Dogs around about 2001 and 2. He's been around the block. He knows the game. He's been the Tongan head coach since 2013. Highly respected within the Polynesian community and in the coaching realm. He's over at St Helens now, I think, and I think
they're in front.
And I think they'll probably win everything again this year. He's done the rounds. He was at North Queensland when I was there. He's always been assistant coach. He's been assistant coach for a lot of NRL clubs. Always on the cusp, but probably just want to learn his craft. And I think he's really learnt it through the Polynesian system as well. Like look where he's got Tonga, and I think him coaching the Tongan team, they will attract a lot more Polynesians and good Polynesian players because he understands the culture, and he's one of those coaches who he's right into it. He's right into it. He understands the Tongan culture, understands Polynesian culture. Wayne Bennett knows that, and obviously the rosters are only going to get more and more and more of Polynesian. They're at 55-60% right now. 2 years, Wayne will probably coach them, set everything up in about 2 or 3 years, and then give Wolfie the head coaching job. And
it's good for him too, because it's a real Demetrio style situation where he sits there, he learns for 2 years, he gets handed a decent roster. Souths are going good this year too.
He's been around for a while, but he's been around for a while. Like, he's been on coaching staffs and for the last 10 or 15 years. So he's done his work, and he understands the game. He's quite smart. He's a really good bloke. So I'm happy. I'm happy for him. Like, I'm happy for him. He's a really good guy, and he deserves it.
Any male Serraldo Bulldogs? What's going on?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not going to believe anything until you see him saying, "Yep, I'm the coach of the Bulldogs." So it's I think it might be close. I think he is the answer to the Bulldogs. I think, like, where there's smoke, there's fire. He's one of the brighter, more talented young coaches coming through. Real student of the game. Highly respected within the coaching ranks over there, but was he willing to sit behind Ivan Cleary for another 5 years? He's just signed another 5-year deal. Like, I think Ciro's around about 40. I think he's about my age or a couple of years younger. Bulldogs are on the up. It's not like it's probably they're going this way.
Yeah,
they're not going this way. So, and it's a premier club. Don't get it twisted with what's been happening
100%.
for 4 or 5 years. It's one of the premier clubs that you can coach. So, I think he would understand that. I think he has a good relationship with Gus. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the club. Hopefully, things in the next 24 hours, something comes out.
Do you know, Finn, my young bloke, Souths were playing the Bulldogs last week, and guess who he was going for?
Bulldogs.
100%. From the days of Greg Inglis bribing him with jerseys to support South, and now he's followed you to the Dogs.
What about
he's still a Roosters supporter.
Latrell Mitchell. Oh, Jesus! What about his comments after?
What about how he targeted?
I love that.
And he's before the game.
I didn't love it because he carved up so much. And I was like, without Latrell, we win. I thought we played outstanding. It was probably our best game of the year. I thought it was Flanagan's best game of the year. Our forwards stood up, and we played some good football. But that dude, once he turned it on, he just had a bee in his bonnet for Burton.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because they stuck with Burton for game 3. Obviously, he could have picked about 5 players. He just beeline for him, threw him off, started laughing at him.
Poor old
Did
Burton
that twice.
too.
Poor Berto. He's had rough couple of days there. But Latrell's Latrell, man. He is that dude. He is that dude. What did he say after? He goes, that number 3 is mine.
You probably proved that a little bit.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think if you
Burton should play 6 next year. Have them both in.
Burton is a gun. Burton is a gun. I mean, he probably learnt so much through Origin. maybe swing first instead of waiting to get punched in the head.
He did a good job stopping. He did a good job stopping all those punches with his cheekbone.
I love that about Birdo, to even get in that fight. You know what I mean? Like he kick pressure on. That's a great Phil Gould. Jeez. Phil Gould's ringing now. Tell him you're busy. The great, he wore it like Gags. Like Gags gave him a couple, and then Tino sort of got him in a bit of a headlock. But like I think that might have opened up Pandora's box. Really, you can swing a couple, you swing some back. All you're going to get is 10 minutes rest, because regardless, unless you absolutely king hit the bloke or something like that, which will never ever happen. Like if someone swings a punch, you're going to swing one back.
You're not going to just.
So the rules are, if you swing a punch, you are both off, because he swung a little bit of a punch at Gags. He had to get 10. He didn't deserve the 10, but he got the 10 minutes.
He should have got 1 minute.
Yeah, he should have got 5. And Gags, that's that passion they're talking about, right?
Do the Bulldogs not do any boxing at training or anything? Is that?
Yeah, and I think Birdo was more shocked, because he's probably thinking,
you never get
no, you're not going to get punched in the head. Nah, you'll get sent for 10. It's like bang bang, like wore a 2-piece, and then it was all over.
He just unloaded, didn't he?
Yeah, Gags, eh? I love Gags. Throw. He can throw him. Gags can throw him too. I wouldn't be fighting him. He's all right.
No one's ever throwing a punch at Dan Gagai on a field. Every game after that.
And like the thing is, like Gags gets 10, and like it didn't let the team down, because he got 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You don't think kids are going, you know what, I might, not kids, NRL players who are going, all right, let's just, someone's really pissing you off, bang, bang, and then we'll be on.
Bring on a bench player, punch Nathan Cleary straight in the face, both of them get 10 minutes, you lose a bench player, lose Nathan Cleary.
Exactly.
Sold it for you.
There's plans.
That's how to beat Penrith. And then he comes back on, get your other bench player to punch him in the head again.
Exactly.
It's a big head to punch too. All right, player movement. I saw Milford's, he's gone to the Dolphins, he's left the Knights. Does that open a spot for Luke Brooks? I know they were keen on him at the start of the year. He needs something, doesn't he, Luke Brooks?
Well, West Tigers aren't willing to bite the bullet because he's on $1 million. That's why. You're putting Paul Hastings at lock. Like, he's a half. He's their best half, or 5'8" they got. Douei's coming in. I'd probably put Douei as lock. He's a bigger body than Hastings.
But he wants to play 6.
But he wants to play 6.
Hastings could play 7. He played 7
Well,
he's
a good 7. Like, he organises everything. He was getting about 80, 90 touches a game. Like, he was getting them going. And, obviously they just don't want to, they can't put a player who's on a, 900 to $1 million in reserve grade.
They won't bite Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, they won't bite the bullet, but they're trying to still develop him. I still think he's got a lot of talent. I just think it's a shame what's happening. I don't know what, and I think it does open the door up for Brooks, but he's going to have to cop a loss, or he's going to have to, does he want to play first grade? Does he want to? Because he'll probably get that talk this year at the end of the year. We want to get rid of you, but we ain't paying more than 500.
Yeah.
And the Knights are going, well, we'll give you 200 or something. That's how it's going to work. We're not going to give you you're not going to be sitting on, 1.1 mil, which he's owed. Depends how much he loves his cash, and if he wants to still play there, Otherwise, they're going to say, yeah, we'll play him. We'll play in your reserve grade next year. That's what's going to happen. That's the cards he's going to get dealt next year. Does he want to play first grade, resurrect his career? Does he need a change? Maybe he does.
The next Andrew Johns.
And Joey's going to be up there. Like, he has all the attributes. He has all the attributes to be a better than average half.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's an above average half. He got like halfback of the year, like four years ago. Like, everyone thought he was going to take that jump, and he sort of digressed a fair bit. So, it depends. I think, change is good. Change can be good for some players, and Newcastle still has some talent.
All right, it is game time. I tell you what, it's actually exciting now, William, because all Origin's finished. There's that sort of lull in the middle. Now they're playing for sheep stations. So you've got sides that are genuinely, like the Storm are coming off 3 losses. There's a little bit of interest now. Everyone's forgotten about the table for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But now you look at the table and go, oh, hang on a second. There's some sides that are fighting for their life. There's some sides that, from a top 4 perspective. So one of the top 4 perspective games is the Thursday game, which is the Eels against the Broncos. Broncos have got all of their players back pretty much. Their forward pack is back to full strength. Payne Haas is back. They've got obviously they've got Reynolds fit. They've got a good team.
Yeah, it's you have a look at it. Look from the Dragons, so 11 to what, like just say the 8th or 7th. It's like it's 4 points. It's 2 games. You know what I mean? Like so, the Raiders are must wins. The Dragons are must wins. The Roosters are still must wins. The Eagles. You know what I mean? Like you can't afford to drop to drop even double games like 2 in a row. You've got to start building some momentum and winning like. At least 3 or 4, put 3 or 4 together. Then you're going to have a look at the Tigers, Titans, Bulldogs, Knights. They're going to try and upset all the guys to try and piss them off. You know what I mean? So they're going to come out. They're playing for their for pride and everything like that and contracts. I understand that this time of the year, some players they're not contracted. They're trying to play for their future. So these last 6, what games is it like? These last 6 games will mean the world to all these players, regardless of where you are.
So who's going for the 8th spot? So you got the Roosters, the Manly side, Dragons.
So the Dragons, Raiders, Roosters, and Eagles.
And then no one else can make it. Knights.
Well, then the Warriors are on 12, Knights 12, Bulldogs 10, Titans 8, and then Tigers 8.
What are the Dragons on?
They can if they win every single game, and they all mathematically, you can still make it if you are. But they are pretty gone. I mean, it's too much of a drop.
What are the Dragons on?
But you don't know. The Dragons are on 18. They could lose. That's what I'm saying. If they lose 3 in a row, Raiders lose 3 in a row, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. But the Roosters will be trying to win every single game, and so will the Sea Eagles. So will the Rabbits. You know what I mean? Because even 4th spot is on 24.
Yeah.
The Rabbits string about 2 or 3 good games together. They drop down. It's you want to finish top 4.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the main objective. So
Storm.
These games are more important than you think, because don't think these other guys down the bottom 4 or bottom 6 are going, we can't make the 8. Let's just go out there and just have some fun. No, they're playing for their contracts and their livelihood. That's why you see a lot of these players, a lot of these teams, the back end upset the big teams, or a team that's going for it all. You know what I mean? Like they could slip up. So it's there's a lot more to play for than just 2 points. They're going to put their heart and soul into every single game.
A lot of interim coaches too, which they're basically playing. Well, if you play bad, all the whoever's coaching that side next year is going to be looking at those games and go, that kid's not trying. So
yeah, exactly. You're playing a lot of these. As I said, they're playing for more than 2 points.
They are.
They're playing for their livelihood.
So Eels Broncos. That's a good game. The Dragons Sea Eagles. The Dragons, they've just hit that I stink from the second half of the season period, haven't they?
They do. They play good when it's wet.
How good's Ben Hunt going?
He's been great. I think he will get Dally M.
He's so
I think
good.
he might.
He probably will.
But they play really good when it on a dry weather. In dry weather, they don't have that flamboyant style of play. Like they got DeBellin, they don't really play out the back that well. They just don't play as quick as when you see the Broncos and the Cowboys, when they're on a dry track, boom, 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 heaps of player ball movement, everything like that, everyone's moving. They just look really stagnant.
Yeah.
But when you give them a wet, boring game, they're tough. They've got a tough team, so they'll slog it out and ball the shit out of you. And then they end up winning those games.
Yeah.
When they had awful game down against Canberra. I mean, it was awful. And then they've had a couple of games in the rain where it's been terrible. They've just got that real tough, gritty pack. But when it gets dry, they don't seem to have that real flamboyant sort of, real fast-paced sort of play. You know what I mean? So I reckon they might get Manly.
Well, it never stops raining, so they'll probably.
It's just going to rain all weekend, so who cares? Hey, a little bit of it. Have you heard the little bit of a rumour Tommy Turbo might be coming back?
Oh, he's pre-season training the house down.
But I just don't want to see that kid come back.
Why would you come back? Play one game.
If I was Manly, I love Donny Singe, the head S&C over there. He's well above every other S&C nearly in the game. Man, I'd be sending him to they did Latrell.
Look what Latrell did.
Just go over there for I don't know, for 4 or 5 months. Get that body tip top. Latrell looks amazing, happy, everything like that. Just looks like everything's coming easy to him, running, and that's only 2 games in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure what they've been doing to Turbo, but obviously it's a shoulder injury. But I want that lower half. I want to get.
That's the problem.
They're the problems. That's the hamstring. It's the calves and all that kind of stuff. It's like knees, and he's got a fair chance now to get all that fixed because he's going to fix his shoulder. His upper body will be fine. You won't have a reoccurrence of doing your shoulders all the time. I mean, you can, but I mean, I doubt it with him. But I'll be sending him overseas, man. Just go chill out. Not chill, but go do all that work. Like Latrell just looks like a different beast now. He can make a Jared Haynes sort of run.
For sure.
That's what Souths look like. And that's what Souths are looking like to me.
Yeah.
They look like, Cody Walker. He's grown another thing. The young little halfback. He
Really
looks
is,
like he's that bean drop. Looks like the best thing for him.
Yeah.
Latrell, Totola, Tom Burgess, all these guys, Jai Arrow, Kolal Matangi, playing really smash mouth football. Cam Murray, they look like they can do something.
Yeah, they're a
they
good
can
side.
They can really make some moves, regardless of where I think they're coming, 7th or 8th.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
They can make a big run. They're my smoky.
Trebojevic, actually, I think partially, I reckon he desperately wants to go to the World Cup. I feel like he's maybe saying that so that he can get to the. Why don't they
He's
send
had
him?
a full shoulder reconstruction. That's 6 to 9.
Yeah.
It's what is it, 4 or 5 months?
Probably
4
not.
months?
Yeah, by the
Come
end
on,
of that.
man. Like, don't do it to yourself.
Maybe they should send him to a vet that specialises in giraffe hamstrings. There'd be one out there somewhere. Get to Romania.
Everywhere.
Off to
Dr.
Romania.
Brown.
Brownie. We'll get
Brownie.
we'll
Get Brownie
the
on. Get the vet. He'll do it.
He can barely treat a house cat, please. Don't believe what you see on TV, people. He hasn't been a vet in a long time. So the Knights and the Roosters will win that.
You reckon? It'd be harder than you think.
Lodge, I reckon he's going to be big for them.
Well, he was big last week.
He was good last week.
Yeah, I just look at that forward pack still for Newcastle. You got Clem, Brayley's back, Saifidi, the 2 Saifidi brothers, Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Mitchell Barnett. You still got the big Edric Lee, Dane Gagai, Tuala, Hymel Hunt, Milford, Kalen Ponga. They've got a decent team. Kurt Mann, the other side, Feedy on the bench. That's a decent team, man. I know the culture and everything from the Roosters. They should win, but it's going to be wet. It ain't a dry field where you can, Teddy and Tupou, Joseph Manu, Sawali, all these guys. It'll halt what they're doing. A little bit, and it's up there as well.
Do you know what
I might
I
be
reckon?
just like too much of a novocation at the moment.
No, but you know what I reckon Newcastle aren't being given enough credit for is that their halfback, their highest paid player outside of Kalen Ponga, left in the preseason. So they did a preseason with Mitchell Pearce.
Then they had to do it with Clifford for 4 weeks.
And then all of a sudden they go,
Clune.
he's gone. It's like losing Mitchell Pearce, who's your main playmaker. Yeah. That's a massive thing for a side to have to deal with. So
yeah, I agree.
I can make excuses for Newcastle.
Raiders, Warriors. Yeah, Raiders have too much to play for. They've got to win this. 3 o'clock, freezing cold down in Canberra. Warriors won't care because they're from New Zealand, but they might be babied a little bit because they've been in Redcliffe a fair bit.
Yeah.
So they might get a little bit cold.
They might get cold. What do you think about benching Reece Walsh?
Well, I can see another Tavita Pangai Jr. move here. Because you've got to have a look at the right circumstances. He's not really wanted at the club now. He's signed with another club next year. Pappenhausen might be out for the rest of the year. It could look like that if Melbourne. I don't think Melbourne even actually thought of it until a couple of journos started saying
Talking about it, yeah.
Started talking about it. And then, if you're Belly, you're like, decent player.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. If we can get him for just say, I'm not sure if the Warriors just want to get rid of him now. Give him the back end of the year, last 3 or 4 games, come have a run into the semis. They still have that forward pack that can still match it with everyone and the culture that they have. I don't know.
Well, what did Walsh's contract with the Broncos next year? I think is 500. I think it is. That was what it was, right? So you think there's 5 games left or 6 games left? So he would have to get what's that? Say he would have been on about 20 grand a game. So you'd go, all right, well, if you've got 100 grand in your salary cap, then he can sign with them for the rest of it because it goes on the salary cap. So they you'd think 100 grand.
It could work.
Could happen.
I mean, it just depends if Melbourne system. They believe in their own system and people.
Yeah.
I don't think, but Penrith have got a great system too, and like
you'd take him. Well, speaking of Penrith, they're playing the Sharks. The Sharks, I don't know. They beat an understrength side last week. I think it's time for the Sharks to decide whether or not they're actually a premiership threat or whether they're
this
just
is the
happy
game.
with going well.
This is the game. Nothing. Everyone's gotten through Origin unscathed. They didn't really have that many players in Origin, but the Panthers did. They had their whole team in the rep round, apart from Dylan Edwards. But the Sharks, if they really want to make a statement, go, you know what, we're here. There's a reason why we are in the top 4. It's going to be this game.
Yep. The other good game, obviously, is the Rabbitohs versus the Storm. The Storm are favourites. I don't think the Storm have a right to be favourites. They're favourites because they're the Melbourne Storm. The Rabbitohs have looked outstanding. The Storm have lost Pappenhausen. They're short on troops. I think, I'm not saying it's the end of the Storm's era because they will still win more games than they lose.
Yeah.
But I just can't see a Melbourne Storm of 2 years ago, last year even, losing 3 games on the bounce.
Well, have a look at, just say this fullback. I mean the back line. Nick Meaney, Dean Iramia, Marion Seve, Justin Olam, Tyron Wishart. That's your back 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know they're Melbourne and they've still got Munster, Jerome Hughes, the Bromwich brothers, Big Nelson, Kafusi, Josh King. The bench is quite strong. There's just not that Melbourne where it's like they've got 10, 12, 13 stacked players. They'd usually have a couple of a Big Nelson or something might be on the bench and coming off and just absolutely destroying.
They need him now because injuries.
They need Big Nelson. Their bench is a little bit skinny. But I just can't. Their system and their culture is just so strong. They're expecting these young kids to come up and do exactly the same job. It's next man up mentality. I know how Melbourne works, so they won't be as dominant as they were in the last, say, 10 years. It's probably going to be a little bit of a changing of the guard, but I'm not worried about them not making the 8 or the top 4 every year. They just won't be as dominant going, shit, no one's going to beat Melbourne this year. You know what I mean? They're just going to be...
Who's on their bench?
Grant Anderson, Kamakamitha, Alec McDonald and Jordan Grant.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah, that's not a Melbourne.
These kids will they'll get a lot of experience for next year and all that kind of stuff, and coming in the semi-finals. But they'll still make a run.
Bulldogs Titans. Well,
yeah. That'll be a good game.
Bulldogs are strong favourites here too, which I think they deserve to be. Yeah. After the Titans have been pretty average.
2:00 Sunday game. Hopefully it's a little bit dry. I'll be out there. Titans still have a decent team. They're very, I think Tavita's called out Big Tino. I want to see that.
Yeah, same.
I want to see him go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And hey, Tino's been playing well, but Tavita has been coming off the back fence.
He's been
playing outstanding.
Yeah.
What he does need is a bit of help.
Support.
Because guess who they got? They got David Fifita, who can turn a game on his head, who I think Tavita will take that personal as well, like he did last time. And they got Fodawaker and they got Isaac Liu. I need Paul Vaughan, I need Max King, I need Josh Jackson, I need Waddell they all need to play like a pack. And if Tavita's leading the way, follow that man. Because he's leading from the front and he's called him out, so he's going to make himself accountable to try and take Tino on. Tino's probably one of the best forwards in the game at the moment. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'd be good.
I cannot wait. I love it when people do this. I love it when young players do this sort of shit. They come out, I want to see fireworks. I love this shit.
I reckon whenever that get called out, they literally...
You got to fucking go. This is tribal, man.
They won't go near each other.
Samoa. No. They'll go at it.
You reckon they'll find
They will
each
go
other?
at... No. They're both in the middle. They're both locked.
Yeah, that's true.
They will go at each other. It's not like if I'm left back row and you're right side back row, let's go. Like, no, shut up. If you're in the middle, it's on.
You can't escape.
It's on. You can't escape. And it's going to be a good battle. They're two young bulls. I love seeing this shit. Love it.
I hope it lives up to the hype now.
Yeah.
That you've hyped it.
Well, I didn't hype it.
You just did then. This is the most popular show in the world.
Okay, we did hype it.
48 billion people just saw that. Hype, man.
Hype.
And the Cowboys, the Tigers. You know what I heard? I heard...
$7.
Yeah.
That is so disrespectful.
Brett Cremorley loves disrespectful. You know what I heard, actually? I heard
Noddy's going to play 7.
I heard he called the Cowboys disrespectful for playing all his players this week. They were
Cowboys, oh my God, what are they, $1.10?
$1.10.
I mean, this is a 2005 grand final replay. They always sort of take that shit personally. But there's levels. I mean, you can't put Jackson Hastings at lock against Taumalolo. You know, I look at Luciano Leilua. I think he's going to go out there with a point to prove. You've still got Tom Gilbert, Reece Robson, who was included in that New South Wales team, Cohen Hess, who's been playing outstanding, Townsend, Dearden's going to take so much confidence, Val Holmes, Peter Hiku, Scott Drinkwater, Kyle Felt. Like, that's a decent side, man. Granville, Tanoa Brown, Griffith Name, like they've got a good side. They have got a good side. Hard to beat.
Willie's Big Boys.
All right, big boys are at it again. They're all going crazy. I think it's been outstanding all year just watching these guys go at it. I've been loving watching, Junior Paulo, Fisher Harris, Taumalolo, Payne Haas, all these big guys just dominating games. It's been outstanding. So, my first vote goes to. I didn't want to give it to him because he played against the Bulldogs. I thought the Bulldogs pack were outstanding, but this young kid, Totola, he was probably the best forward, him and big Tom Burgess. He led from the front, running hard, a little bit of a tip on, some real creative, some good meters, scored a try. He was outstanding. So 1 vote for him. 2 votes goes to the big Dolph, Toby Rudolph. I thought he was outstanding on the weekend. Puts up some great numbers, man. He plays some big minutes, well over 60 minutes, 160, 70 metres gained all the time, about 45 tackles. All these guys, as I said all the time, the efficiency of tackling, they're all around about the 90%. But 3 votes to Joe Tapine. And who'd they play, Melbourne? I'm pretty sure they played Melbourne.
Yeah, probably.
And that is hard to do. The numbers that he's been putting up, that young kid, I think he has been the best, one of the best forwards in the game this year. And I think he's off contract, so pay that man. He's worth every cent. I'm pretty sure the Canberra will want to keep him, but he has everything. He hits like a truck. He's got skills. He's got late footwork. Always finds his front. Aggressive as hell. Like he's your prototype front row at the moment.
Was he at Newcastle?
Newcastle boy, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and he just Ricky got him and identified how talented he was, and he had a few ups and downs last year, a few injuries here and there, but like this year he's strung together. He'll probably get Dally and Proper the year, be up there. So that's my big boys of the week. Leaderboard. 3rd on there is Junior Paulo. He was close to getting a point. Second, James Fisher-Harris. So he's on 13. Jason Taumalolo's on 14. So there's the leaderboard at the moment. So it's going to be a tight finish. Taumalolo's on 14. Fisher-Harris on 13. Junior Paulo on 10. It's very easy for those guys to get 3.
You know what I like? You're consistent with going from below this time. We built the suspense. We went 1, 2, 3 with the votes. We started with 3rd.
I'm glad I can make you happy.
I'm glad. Thank you for that. This is actually my least favourite part of the show every week is the betting because we're so bad.
Why?
We're so bad. I know.
Why? We're so good in the last 2 years.
I know. It's like the last couple of years has been like 10
embarrassing.
grand by the end. 10 grand by the end of the year.
Well, the year before, we still haven't even because of COVID, we haven't gone out to these country towns to give them whatever we need. Obviously now we're going to try and get it out there. But what did we win the year before? Like 15, 16?
No, we got. So last 2 years we've given 5 grand to 2 clubs.
Okay,
and
so
then we haven't
million.
been able to go out to see them. We've given the money,
but we will. We have given the money.
Yeah.
But I want to give them some gear.
And so this week I have gone, and I tell you what as well, I lost on my punters club last week, and I had 2 horses, and the first one won, and the second one ran second by a bee's dick, and I was filthy because I thought, you know what, I shouldn't be filthy because I cannot win. Anyway,
one of those years.
My bet is Souths head-to-head, Roosters to cover 11.5, and the Broncos head-to-head. And that is paying $9.12. William?
What's my bet?
You have taken the Knights 1-12, Penrith 1-12, South 13+, and Isaiah Papali'i.
Did I back Penrith 1-12 or Cronulla?
Did you say Cronulla 1?
Yeah.
You said Cronulla 1-12.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I've written it down. I can't read my own writing anyway, but that is paying $249.60.
And anytime try scorer?
Papali'i.
Big Papali'i. Isaiah Papali'i.
Yeah.
He can score a try.
He was only $3.25 to score a try.
So I mean, he
can find a try. And then the producer, I don't even want to call it the producer anymore. I want to call it
just Craig. What's up, Craig?
It's Henry.
Well, he's got Eels, Seagulls, Roosters,
Seagulls.
Raiders, Panthers, Rabbits, Border. He just picked wins.
Yeah.
And
And
has
it's
put
paying
no thought into this, Craig.
$17.04.
That's all right.
You know what he's worth? 4 cents.
Anyway.
Then the other thing that Henry did last week was he gave himself. We didn't put our tips in because you were drunk and
I was not.
and I was drunk all weekend.
I was in Lisbon.
It was small, and he gave himself 8 and us 7. So I've fixed that.
That's
so
bullshit.
You have backed the Eels, the Dragons, the Knights, the
Eels, Dragons, Knights,
Raiders, Sharks, Rabbits, Dogs, and Cowboys. And I have, and Henry's copied me, has gone Eels, Manly, Roosters, Raiders, Panthers, Rabbits, Bulldogs, and Cowboys.
All right. Well,
There you go.
if I can get about 4 up on you guys, I might be all right.
You're a big chance.
Yeah.
And as I said, if it wasn't for you being loyal,
I've been
to
all right. I've
the
been all
Bulldogs,
right.
This is
Yeah.
probably your best year at tipping.
We got any questions from the Twitter fam?
Yep, let's have a look.
Twitter sphere?
Twitter sphere. Do you think Origin 3 should be a blueprint for how NRL games should be played? Personally, I enjoyed the back and forth grind and letting the players decide the result rather than penalties left, right and centre for every minor indiscretion. That's from Dan J. Good on you, Dan.
Well, it's
He's
hard.
a Bulldogs tragic.
It is hard for that. Like that's the best level you're going to get, and the players and the refs sort of let a lot of the little things go more in Origin because they want to see a free-flowing game, but it's hard to get that. You're only going to get that sort of level in a preliminary final or a grand final where you got two teams like everything on the line, so you're not going to get that in these normal club games. Like I'd love to see it, but it's just not. The year's too it's too long. I think if we had it 18 rounds, you're probably going to get 18 rounds of like brutality like that because they know how hard it is to make the finals, but it can't because of the CBA. The game is worth. We have to put the game on TV to get the money to get for the revenue, for the salary cap, all that sort of shit. So I would love to see that sort of brutality every game, but fuck me. There'll be some sore players every week because that was unreal. But I get it. The refs should. I'll go back to the refs. The refs should let the game go a lot more free flowing. Not enough. They do sort of step in so they can get their fucking head on the Telegraph the next day. They should just pipe down, ref the game, shut up.
To be fair as well to club games, if you look at the Origin players, they make less mistakes because the Origin players are the best players. So I think
you got to understand in club football, you might have a rookie, you might have a guy who plays 10 games, you could have a guy who's just not that good, So in Origin, you got the best of the best.
I do look at that Bulldogs Titans game though and think that's Origin level standard intensity.
You're a smart ass.
All right, well that's it for us. It's been quite a long show because we've had a couple of weeks off, but we'll be back every week from now on. We'll be doing Twitter.
We'll be tweeting.
We'll be doing Twitters.
Rate and review. Try and think of some good questions for next week.
I've put it up late, to be fair. And that's it,
MasonsTake.com. Get on there. Have a browse around. There's always some good footage on there. Ask some questions and I'm sure we'll get back to you. All right, guys. See you later.
Love you.
Bye.
I'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Plus. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.